Hi, everybody. Hi, Bracha. We continue with our Hasidic discourse, our mimer. So those who go out to the army, front line, were there with Mesirus Nefesh, self-sacrifice. They are given from the king his oitzer, from his treasures, because for the king, there's only one possibility, and that's victory. And if he has to make use of the heirloom that he has from generations, he's going to spend it, use it in a manner of like just splurge in order that the ultimately not the generals and not the um, captains, but the foot soldier, the front line, is going to have all the what's necessary to fight the battle. That's the metaphor. What's the analog, as if we've explained? The analog that we've explained is that we're in the army of Hashem, God's army, in his divine service. There's a darkness in the world. There's a lie of the world. There's a folly of the world. And we have to battle. And we have to battle to bring up the light of godliness, goodness and kindness in the world, an abode for Hashem. An abode for Hashem. And we're given from above, we're given a treasure. So that treasure, as we explained, is well, let's go now into the treasure we explained is the power of that we can make the right moral choice in dealing with darkness, with dealing with a lie, that we can have the presence of Hashem, God, in that choice. Now, where is, when we say that this is a heirloom, a treasure of the king above, what does it mean? So we need to understand what's above and what's below. So the Zohar says, that Orain Seif, that the light of the infinite of Hashem, what's below. So the Zohar says, if you can, thank you, mute. Thanks. So the Zohar says that Orain Seif is Lamaila Dein Tach Dein Kates, that Orain Seif, the infinite light of God, is is above until no end, lamata adein tachlis, and is below to no, yeah, I mean, to no purpose, to no end, no purpose. So, what does it mean above until no end? So, in the previous Rebbe's Mimer, his discourse, he discusses that in this year's discourse, as we know that there's a 20 paragraph discourse every year that Rebbe takes one paragraph to elaborate upon. This year's is 15. And the previous was elaborate upon what does it mean below until no end. In other words, even, that even in a place where it seems like it's random. But take for in our lives, there are times that we sense purpose, we sense the rhythm, we sense how everything is um, uh, not random, right? Everything is sort of like organized in life. And those times, it's much easier to appreciate the divine and sense that there's the Ein Sof. The Ein Sof goes ad ein tachlis until no purpose, even in such a low place where we don't sense everything seems to be random, everything seems to be senseless. Our Ein Sof is there. The infinite of God is there. The infinite of God is there. So that was discussed in previous teachings, in previous paragraphs. Now we're discussing what does it mean, lamaila ad ein case, above with no end. And that's where the oitzer, where the treasure, where the heirloom of the king that he gives to us, that's where it comes from such a place. So what is that place? With understanding it, we'll appreciate what a treasure it is to the king. And if it's a treasure to the king, then, in other words, um, but in other words, uh, um, when a mother gives from the heirloom of her family to her child, to her daughter, you know, this is a bracelet that was handed down from generation to generation and is very precious to the mother, right? It's very dear. And she gives it to her daughter. Well, that's a real, profound gift and giving something of the mother, right? As opposed to, um, mother gave a broom to her daughter, right? Giving a broom to the daughter. It's nice. Nice gift. But it's not coming from the treasure chest, right? So using that as a metaphor to appreciate and understand the notion over here of what the Anshe Chayil, what the foot soldier gets in God's army in this world in order to engage in the battle of life, the battle of a dark world that we need to transform. So, you might think, okay, so God's giving you um, something, but he's giving you this. He's giving you a broom. Go clean up, go clean up house in order that, can make a nice dwelling for God in this world. No, 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 no. He's giving from the heirloom that is from generation to generation. Again, it's a metaphor, What does it mean? God's heirloom from generation to generation. Well, we'll understand it. Well, we'll try to give some understanding to it, but that's a metaphor to appreciate that what we're given in order to be, um, you know, foot soldiers that we are in this world to fulfill the divine plan. So, the victory, there's only there's no alternative there. It can only be victory, right? Because if not, then the king is disposed of. Right? So take that, right? God is the king. So there can only be victory to bring out godliness in this world. Otherwise, and it can't be any other way because that's the authentic and absolute truth, right, of God. So it can't be that he's defeated. Yet, that being said, right, so there's no alternative. So, but that being said, God's giving us the wherewithal that we fight the enemy that's anti-godliness, right? That's darkness. That's a falsehood. And he's giving us. Now, how important is it? Well, it's extremely important. So where's it coming from, this treasure? It's coming from Lamaila ad ein kates, from above, right? We need to, what does that mean? Above, until that there is no end, right? With God, a place where there's no end within God. How do we understand? What does it mean? So that's what we're going to engage in over here to get an appreciation and understanding of what this means. Now, just as a prelude, is that just as a prelude to this, we've got two extremes over here: above and beyond, no end, and below, so far below, where there is no purpose, meaning even when it seems to be random, right? So when we speak, it seems to be senseless, God is there. And as high and high up as you go, and when we say about God, we're talking about the Or Ein Sof, the revelation of God is there. The light of God is there, rather, and not the revelation necessarily. No, as we'll see. The 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 revelation, not the revelation, the light of God is there. So meaning, as high up as you go, even though there's levels, and in those levels, you can sometimes get stuck in those levels of the divine. What do I mean by there's a beautiful metaphor of what it means to be a simple servant of God, as opposed to more complicated. A wealthy man comes to see the king. And before you come to the inner chamber of the king, there's many chambers to go through. So in one chamber, there's great artwork on this wealthy person who's a refined individual. Um, he gets lost in that room, beautiful art. And the next room, beautiful sculptures. And it gets lost there. In the next room, beautiful, mounted pieces of, of the king when he goes out on his hunting. And he's just enamored, enamored. He never quite makes it to the king, right? Then you have the simple foot soldier who doesn't know much about this and comes to visit, has an appointment with the king. And he goes through these rooms straight to the king. He makes the appointment. Powerful, right? So when we speak about Orein Soif, the infinite light of God, so we're talking about how you can reach to the king, to God himself, as opposed to, right, to God himself, as opposed to the many levels of godliness. The world of Betzilus, emanation, the world of Bria, creation, and, higher level of Gan Eden, lower level of Gan Eden, all of, these are all a light, right? But we're talking about that you are, when you're that foot soldier and the king is giving you, God's giving you from his Eitzer, from his treasure, others, that which is most dear to him, giving that to you. So he's not giving from the lower emanation of God or the creations, right? It's giving from or Ein Sof. That's what we're talking about, from a place. So in this understanding, there's great detail that we're going to go through that will give us an enhanced understanding of what it means above until no end. That when you get to no end, all there is or ain't safe. All there is him. And that's where the gift comes from. That's where the treasure comes from. That's in brief as a kind of a backdrop before we get into the heavy duty appreciation and understanding of what this means. But